it's me, your boy Jay, Jason Ward, coming to you again from Freedom Train. Welcome back. Today's video, I really did want to talk about putting everything together. I mean, we've had quite a lot of videos here, and they talked about different aspects of building wealth, and even more importantly, building generational wealth. But we want to do something. I wanted to do something today to kind of put all that together so that you can have it kind of wrapped up in a neat little box, even though it's really not all that neat of a box. But before we get started, down below, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and the notification is the bell button, so that way you can get notified whenever we put out some new content, because we don't want you to miss anything, because everything that we have going out now is some very important stuff that you're really going to want to make sure that you know. The books in today are also very important. Again, Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game. There may not be a single more important book to you being able to obtain financial freedom than that one. And the extra added benefit is that it gives money to feed the hungry. So please make sure you add that to your library. The other book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because we want you to be able to get the advice that rich people give their children. And that's the same advice that's going to help you get on that road to financial freedom. So make sure you get those books and add them to your library, because they're very important to have. So as we went through all the videos, one of the very first things that we stressed was you having a millionaire's mindset, because ultimately wealthy people think about things a lot differently than poor people. And so we wanted you to first start out by getting the wealthy person's mindset. And you want to go and read all the books, and every wealthy person's house that I looked at when I was doing searches online for gigantic houses that were 8,000-10,000 square feet, and they were worth millions of dollars. And every single one of those houses that I looked at had one thing in common, and that was they had some room that had a bookcase. The reason for that is that wealthy people read. They're really heavily into personal development and into making themselves better, because it's not what you get at the end of the journey that's really significant. It's more significant who you become. And we want you to all become great people out there, because money can only increase whatever it is that you are right now. So if you're a really mean person, it's just going to make you be even that much meaner. But if you're a really nice and generous person, it's going to make you even more generous and give you the ability to help even more. So that's where we want you to be able to get to, because that's what ultimately is going to make you happy. Okay, so first of all, let's get that millionaire mindset. And in order to do that, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you're hanging around people that are going to help you get to that status. So maybe you don't know any millionaires, and I know that for sure that there weren't very many that I was familiar with when I first started on this journey. And so the ones that I got familiar with were the ones that were there on video. So YouTube is a really great source to get lots and lots of personal development information, and there's tons of it out there. Some of my favorites are Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thomas. There are tons and tons of them out there. Napoleon Hill. I mean, there's even a lot of people that are no longer with us, sadly to say, but they left some very valuable information on how you can obtain financial independence. And I really do highly suggest that you go out there and you put that kind of stuff into your mind, because how you think is how you'll become. And if you're hanging around 10 broke or 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you're going to be number 10, because you'll start to think how they think. One of my favorite stories is when I first moved to Atlanta. One of the very popular things to say there in Atlanta was shawty. And when I first got there, oh my goodness, I really couldn't stand when somebody would say that. I just felt deep in my soul that that was just the most ghetto thing that you could be saying. Shawty, what in the world is that all about? So I didn't really get why people were running around shawty this, shawty that. But then one day I was out with a friend that was actually from there, and I had been hanging out with a whole lot of people that were from Atlanta. And the next thing I know, before I knew what was coming out of my mouth, I was like, "Hey, shawty." And oh my goodness, I couldn't even believe it. I had to turn around and look around me, and I'm wondering, what in the world did that come from? And sure enough, it came from me. Because whoever it is that you're hanging around, that's who you get to become. You become just like them. Birds of a feather are going to flock together. So if you don't want to be that next broke person, then you might want to cut loose from those other broke friends. Unless they're trying to go and do the kinds of things that you're trying to do, then that's really not going to be a good mix. But most wealthy people had to do the things that poor people weren't willing to do in order to get where they were, and that's one of them. So, after we start to get our millionaire mindset, one of the very first things that we're going to do to develop that millionaire mindset is pay yourself first. And I know a lot of you are sitting there kicking and screaming and saying, "Oh no, there's no way I could ever do that. I can't afford to do that. If I did that, some bill isn't going to get paid." I don't care. If you have to go and get your light shut off or get your phone shut off, whatever it is that you have to do, but you need to start to develop the discipline that's necessary to pay yourself first. And that money that you use to pay yourself first, you want to make sure that you get it in somewhere into an account where you're not going to touch it, you're not going to spend it or be tempted to go in there and spend it, because otherwise you will. And you don't want to do that. You want that money to be earmarked for your financial future. Tony Robbins likes to call it your wealth tax. And that's exactly what it is. It's a tax that you're going to pay in order for you to get financially free. And everybody's got to pay it. Warren Buffett pays it. Bill Gates pays it. Ray Dalio pays it. All the most successful and wealthy people that you know out there are paying this wealth tax. And so you need to make sure that you start to get in that sense of being where you're paying your wealth tax. Doesn't matter how you start out. Whether you start out with 0.5% or 1% or 5% or 10%. You want to start to grow it and get it to as much as you can, whether it's 10, 20%, 50% even, or 100%. I mean, there's quite a few people that were able to get to the point of being financially independent by putting half of their paychecks or more even into their tax fund, their wealth tax fund. So let's make sure that you're doing that as well. So this is going to be the end to part 1. I think I'm going to have to break this video down into 2 parts. I know that's not real fun, but that's okay. We're not going anywhere, and I hope that you're not either. And hopefully that will keep you coming back. So until we meet again, I do want to thank you for choosing us here at Freedom Train. My name's Jason, and you have a great day.